Yo, what up?
What up? Where are we going?
Griff.
I would say the most frequently used word on this trip was faff. F***ing around frivolously, or f***ing around frustratingly, furiously, f***ing around furiously.
Oh my god.
That is private property.
Oh, fuck.
Basically when you're just kind of freaking out.
We're in it. Go, 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 go.
Can you just fart on me, dude?
I did.
Farting around frantically is the PG-13 definition. Growing up when I was like 7 or 8, I asked my mom what religion we were. And she's like, oh, we're Seventh-day recreationalists. And I was like, okay, cool. And so for years I would tell people that we were Seventh-day recreationalists. And finally I got the joke, but I think it's a pretty good religion. I'm Griffin Post. According to Google, I'm a TV personality, which I thought was pretty funny. I'm a professional skier that's spent the last decade plus making ski films. Films about land use. That money goes a long way. Climate change. Kind of learned to appreciate how powerful a film can be in terms of changing people's minds or creating awareness. I always forget things when we do this. Remember when we went to Juneau and I didn't have any underwear for like 3 weeks because we were filming while I was packing? Just satiates that really childlike curiosity. Underwear, check. Exploring with a sense of purpose. So here we are, talking to you in my garage. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a lovely garage. I'm very jealous.
It is a fine garage.
It's very tall.
Thank you.
We're now looking out over the view.
When we moved from Chicago to Idaho, I remember we went skiing.
Yo, speeding bullet!
And I was like, Mom, whose land is this? She's like, oh, this is like everybody's. I was like, what do you mean? Because we'd grown up in suburbia and like didn't have access like there is in Idaho. And I was just blown away that like all of that was kind of ours.
The concept of public lands is the ability to walk onto a parcel of land that is as close to nature as you're ever going to get and not have anybody yell at you for being there. It's about 640 million acres. The Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, National Park Systems. Public lands in their history, I think, have never been something that would be easy to manage. And that's both the blessing and the curse of them. The threats that we are seeing right now on public lands are probably more than we've ever seen. And in the middle of that is the conflict going on currently about inaccessible public lands. When you look on a map, you see parcels of public lands that are surrounded by private land. There's no way to get to them.
Across the US, there's over 16 million acres of inaccessible public lands, 15 million in the West alone. That's the equivalent of the entire state of West Virginia. As hunters and anglers, we deal with inaccessible public land all the time. But talking to my peers in the ski and snowboard worlds, they're largely unaware of how big an issue this is. I think it was about 2 years ago, I was speaking on this panel about outdoor recreation, and this hunter talked about the $1.5 billion they raise annually through licenses, fees, tags, and taxes, and how much cleanup they do. Imagine how powerful we'd be if skiers and snowboarders showed up in the same way to protect public lands. I come from the ski movie world, and so that's the medium I'm most familiar with. So I decided to make a film to show just how important it is to protect access for everyone. I got a bit of a storyboard here, like the key beats we want to hit on, kind of divided into different categories. Basically just check off all these boxes and go home.
Easy peasy.
Easy. I started scouring all map data for landlocked high terrain across the US. There's some in California, there's a lot in Wyoming, but as far as good ski terrain that's really hard to access legally, the crazy mountains in Montana really were the ideal choice. I wanted to see what the snow was like, what the terrain looked like in real life. And so I linked up with my buddy Wiley Miller, who is a pilot now.
All right, check. Over here, babe. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, all right.
I rushed up there and we got up to about 10,000 feet and looked out to the range. It was just pure cloud bank, and you're like, oh.
Oh, man.
And I was like, let's just bump up a little higher. Let's go to like 12,000 and see if we can pop over these clouds.
It'll be a little bumpy until we get above the clouds.
And sure enough, we popped up and there's some light shining through, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty epic.
You talk to people who go to the crazy mountains, there's no place like them. And the hard truth is we've split them up. We've divided them up. We've made them almost impossible to get into. When land is locked up, it automatically loses its cultural and spiritual value because it doesn't belong to you anymore. The treasures are found on our public lands, and if we don't have access to them, we are impoverished.
Crazy peak poking out there. Yeah. It's on private. Is it on private? Yeah, that's wild.
It was reassuring to put a few more pieces of the puzzle together in terms of like where to put camp, what the snow was like, what the terrain looked like. But at the end of the day, our entire trip is going to be dictated by imaginary lines. It's going to be hard. And so I needed to select my team pretty carefully. Give me the people that can't live without it. Those are the people that you want to be in the mountains with. I knew Eric Jackson, a big hunter, really good snowboarder. I remember the first time I called you, Jack, he didn't answer, but his voicemail picked up and it was just like,
hey, thanks for calling, y'all. Leave a message if you want to, all right?
I mean, dude, we're going to bear country, major bear country. I'll just like talk to him because I kind of look like a bear, and so I'll just like, we come in peace.
Emilé Zynobia, I've known for years. One of my friends that's very smart referred to her as the smartest person he knows.
Calling me a nerd? Yeah. Let me live in my truth, okay?
So approach-wise, we get to basically this easement. I'll be like some faffery to get like all the gear up there. The crazies have a lot of complex land access issues.
During the Homestead Act, when land was being distributed across the West, it was put into this mosaic of a checkerboard. And so you have private held parcels, and then you have public lands that tend to be placed in this pattern.
It's a crazy thing to think about, but because of the way the grid system was established for surveying public lands, it is a bunch of squares that are all lined up against each other like a checkerboard. In order to encourage railroads to build their lines all the way to the west, the federal government was trying to figure out how to finance that work, and they didn't have the money to actually subsidize those railroads. And so what they did instead as an incentive is they gave them alternating sections on both sides of the tracks.
And then in certain cases, it can create this phenomenon of isolated, landlocked public lands where people can't access, in essence, what is their birthright as an American citizen.
You see the checkerboard and you're like, oh, there's a whole chunk of public land that I can't access. I don't really know what to expect and how we're going to navigate in the crazies.
One of these. You know what I mean?
The crazies are crazy. I'm really excited.
All right.
We're doing it.
Go.
For as much planning as went into this trip, I can't say it got off to a particularly smooth start. The road had melted out from the trailhead. And so you couldn't ride sleds, but you also couldn't park on national forest because there's a section of private land. So the only option was to unload the gear into the field with duffel bag on duffel bag, toboggans, drove it back 3 or 4 miles, parked, and then walked back to the trailhead.
Godspeed. Let it begin for public land.
A lot of sledding to get to camp.
Oh,
Moving into the field, the crew worked together really well.
Oh, should they be all on the outside?
Yeah. We actually had tents up before dark, which was seemingly out of the question at many times during the day.
Fucking around furiously. Fast.
Do I seem like... When I'm in a place like the crazies, there's just this thing that's not, it can't be named, that comes alive in me. I can see, okay, I'm gonna go up that drainage, look at the way that bench is, like, ooh, where do I think animals are hanging out? Like your brain just like gets really excited.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically camp lines right here.
There's so many question marks that you don't know until you're there. And that was what day one was all about, is addressing those question marks and getting kind of just a feel for the zone, the terrain, the snow, the crew. And so we selected the zone that was pretty close to camp, had some pretty aesthetic couloirs, and kind of got to work.
All right, game on.
There's so many variables, the weather, the snowpack, the terrain, and then you add that extra layer of public-private land. So it's not easy out there.
It was just so complicated off the bat, just like weird cryptic LLC owned in the family trust of something name.
If you hugged that looker's right side, you would be all in. But if you wanted to go way out on the looker's left side, you would be trespassing.
In Montana, the penalty for trespassing is 6 months in prison, but landowners have been known to sue trespassers for millions of dollars. So crossing a private property boundary is not a risk we can take.
This private property boundary like dissects the middle of the couloir. This range is a pretty complicated equation. It wasn't the day to go up and try it. We just didn't have enough information yet.
kind of love it though.
We needed to regroup, make a plan, get some sleep, and then get back out there. Day 2, we found this beautiful cirque that had 36 very worthy couars. So we hopped on the sleds and headed out.
We take off on the sleds. I think we're finally feeling like, okay, we might actually get a shot.
We're basically right on the private property line. It's like, well, there's a way, obviously. It seems like option 1 is skirt the right side, but I still think we cross.
We found this way around, and so we decided to go for it.
Deeper, further, higher. If I ever get annoying, just tell me.
Probably most people would just go up the gut of it and do the most direct thing, but when you're trying to do things by the book, it makes it tough.
That's like the boundary right there.
Really?
Flight path.
Bummer.
Did this ticky-tacky way up through the rocks.
We're animals out in the wild.
And then hiked up
Around this corner of private property, and then we had to boot pack.
You just fart on me, dude?
I did.
Oh my God, no crop dusting.
You really have to pay attention to where you're going. And that's definitely what we confronted on day 2.
So, successfully skirted private property. All right, I think it's gonna work.
Wind chill is real.
We're able to access the base of this couloir that we had seen on day 1. Big dog leg, north facing, a lot steeper and tighter than I had anticipated.
All right, should we boogie?
Let's do it.
Emily stayed back. I think she saw the writing on the wall well before we did.
It's pretty full on.
We get into the meat of the couloir, and it's just like sheer ice.
Don't like.
I look down, I'm like, hey Griff, I'm pretty uncomfortable right now. I was like, I'm out of here. I want off this mountain. 3, 2, 1, drop in. All right, buddy, have fun.
Yeah, you do, man.
E-Jack came out like a bat out of hell, just flying down the mountain.
My God.
They're gonna drop it. Oh my God. Hectic. Fucking early.
Emily made the right call for sure. She knew what was up.
It was pretty shitty riding. Things weren't going as planned, and you could definitely see the pressure on Griff.
We don't have a movie without good action footage, and if we don't have a movie, all of this will have been for nothing. For sure, I feel like I'm letting the team down. This is kind of my idea, my baby. But in a weird and bigger way, I also feel like I'm letting down anybody that cares about public lands. And for sure, that is self-imposed, that's in my head, but it doesn't make it any less real or heavy.
He said, come close.
Why are you just absolutely punishing yourself for this film?
Last year, I was going through the hardest time in my life. And it was one kick after another. It was just this relentless beatdown. And just felt that like darkness like creeping in so much. It was like, let the darkness win or go hunting. It was the last day of archery season, and I went to my spot. I sat on this wallow for like an hour and a half. Wind was bad, forgot my bugle. Just a busted hunt from the get-go. And I like sat there, and like an hour in, I just got this like guttural motivation of like, no, like this is not gonna break you. You're gonna love more, you're gonna be kinder, you're gonna care more, you're gonna be a better friend. And it was like this just like primal motivation, this just like I got it. Like I freaking got this. Like why I care, like the why, is because if I didn't have hunting that day, if I didn't have public lands, like I don't know how that day plays out. Like I really don't. And for anybody who's on that journey, like that darkness is gnarly. It like creeps in. And I just think it's important that everybody has that place you can go and feel that empowerment to like persevere through.
Day 3 started out as like a harumph. And then it's sort of like Griff Daddy because he gets into this sort of like Mr. Responsible mode and Mr. Dialed.
Could split up 2 and 1, faffing around down there.
Group assessment. You know, we got to just start working together in the flow.
It's interesting to see him because he's so laid back a lot of the time, but like there's always this undercurrent of just digging, relentless, focused.
We wanted to go to this face that Griff had scouted from the scout flight. It looked really cool.
It looked different from everything else. It seemed like it got more snow. And that was our goal for day 3, is to access this giant swath of really good terrain. But this range was seemingly corner locked by private property, and that's a problem.
The idea of corner crossing is you step over private land, moving from one square of public to another. Corner crossing has been a legal gray area for a very long time. In Wyoming, a group of 4 hunters decided to cross some corners to access public land to hunt elk.
The landowner called the sheriff's office and had a civil trespass lawsuit brought against them.
The 10th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that as long as they do not touch that private land and they step over, they are not trespassing. This ruling is limited to the 10th Circuit, so if you live in a state that is not in the 10th Circuit, this ruling does not apply to you.
It's a legal gray area in Montana, so that wasn't an option for us. But for whatever reason, there was a little sliver of public land on the west side of the plot.
We had to do like this giant 12-mile loop all the way around.
Spent the morning sledding down, making sure we had crossed just at the right section, and just kind of thread the needle onto this little sliver of public land.
And we were right in this little gap. So far, so good.
Good call, Griff, on going west.
It's the puzzle. Things are fun because of the puzzle, not in spite of it.
started making our way, like, spirits were definitely rising.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
Ah, you think it's the R, but it's really the C.
Dad joke.
Then we had like a traverse over massive exposure.
We're like, man, this is way steeper than it looks.
Out of snacks and water and traversing across this pretty sketchy face.
Like, you know you're in the right spot when you have fresh goat poo.
You're just like 1 step, 2 step, breathe, 1 step, 2 step, breathe. You're trying to make sure every step counts. You're like, I better not fucking fall off this mountain right now.
Climbing up the biggest coulee of the trip so far.
You get that rush, that like little adrenaline hit when you're on something and your face is right here, like.
Cool. Looking good.
We finally get to this ridge and are able to look into the cirque, and it looks amazing. It looks full on.
It's just a beautiful cirque, like this just U-shaped massive mountain. Some very cool terrain, big couloirs, and there's one just like crown jewel, just awesome looking couloir. And I think I see a variation in the line. Griff was like, you should ride it. And I'm like, no, dude, you ride it for sure. And it's all good.
EJAC was kind enough to give me the tenderloin. Solving the private property boundary issues, big win. The clouds dissipating are a huge win. And finally, you're like, okay, you got what you came for.
3, 2, 1, dropping.
This trip in the last year have given me a new appreciation for public lands, and just gives you that much more resolve to fight for it.
Yeah, buddy, that was epic.
Until you start paying attention more and you learn all these different threats to public land and public access, you know, it's not till then that you like realize what's at stake.
I'm gonna go blast off, guys. Getting outside with people is some of the most important memories you can make. I hope you all feel it, that like these landscapes are transformative. I hope that people feel inspired to go on their own journeys on public lands and to advocate for these places.
3, 2, 1, drop in. Go camping, backpacking, snowboarding, fishing, hunting, whatever. Like, just having that freedom is, do not mistake it, it is a privilege.
Oh, buddy! That was awesome!
I think it's pretty simple, man. Like, protect what you love. And if you love public land, then fight for it.
The thing about access is like, once you give it up, you are not getting it back. That's a privilege that needs to be fought for.
Dude, that was that. That was fun, dude.
That's right.
And if we all collectively working together as one, what a force to be reckoned with.
We live in a day and age where we can no longer just sort of take for granted that everything's going to be fine. It's really upon us as a population that cares about these places and cares about the resource to defend it.
Public lands are America's best idea because they belong to all Americans. You know, if you're a citizen of this country, you have a stake in this. They are your public lands. I want people to come away ready to roll up their sleeves and ready to talk and to communicate and join the fight. because we don't win this alone. We're going to win it together, but we do not win this alone.
There's a lot that people can do right now to get involved and help save public lands. You can volunteer your time, contribute money. It's really going to take all of us giving everything we have to turn the ship around.